I would like to name the following friends of mine as members of the Communist Party.
You're just here to test the microphone.
Fred Wilson, my brother Bill, Dom DiMaggio, the Paperboy, Howdy Doody, Joseph Stalin.
Hey everybody, welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them? A title fight is brewing. That's right, this season, Eddie Murphy versus Jim Carrey. I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill, and joining me on the line is a Bugaboo Creek, Joe Vekeman.
Bugging and booing.
Yeah, that wasn't in the movie. It just felt like I wanted to call you that today. For your benefit.
Wait, what?
Yeah. All right, and on the audio boards is Lev Van Rensselaer reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com. And our sponsor this week is Scoop Dreams. Any ice cream flavor you can think of, you can find at Scoop Dreams. All right, Joe, what movie are we doing this week?
The original script by Michael Sloan had the working title of The Bijou, and was the title when Jim Carrey signed on in August 2000. Thank God it was not called The Bijou.
Would the movie theater also have been a different name?
I'm guessing so. So we watched 2001's slowest movie in the entire world, The Majestic.
Bijou. Why would you call it Bijou? All right, yeah, what happens in this movie, Joe?
What happens in The Majestic? Well, as it's plodding along... In 1951, a blacklisted Hollywood writer gets into a car accident, loses his memory, and settles down in a small town where he's mistaken for a long-lost son. This is like the plot of a TV show, like a really boring TV show. Oh my God. It's the Mystery Box. What happened to him? Good Lord. This movie is still boring. I have not watched it in 24 years. Still as boring as the day I saw it. You liked it, didn't you?
No, okay. I guess it had been built up so much because it came out and I didn't see it, but everybody just talked about how long and boring it was.
Very much so.
And that is all I've ever heard about it since. And then you repeated that last week when we discussed we were doing this movie.
And my suspicions were confirmed. I was going in with a clear head. Like, all right, it's been over 2 decades.
So I went in and I was like, 2.5 hours. We've been largely able to avoid that this season, which has been nice. But then it was like, yeah, it was sort of doing all the things you expected in the like it was, you know, Jim Carrey's character's making fun of when his producers wanted to put the dumb dog in the movie. And I'm like, I wonder if Jim knows he's in that kind of movie now. Boring, sure, but fine. I don't know. 2 stars. It's there. Like, I don't hate it.
God damn it.
It does all the... It's a little too save the cat-y, but it's okay.
It's just so slow.
I know, but when everybody tells you it's super slow and I'm waiting for it to not do anything ever, it did do things. So I was like, okay.
It did things, but I will tell you, I checked in. They don't actually open the movie theater until 91 minutes into the movie.
Well, because it doesn't seem to be really about that. I thought I was kind of confused too. I'm like, we're not really doing a lot of movie theater things.
But then they do have like a big montage of like, oh, we're getting the theater all set up and ready to go. Oh, take your ticket, please.
And then there's like 40 minutes of movie, and then we got a surprise House Un-American Activities Committee movie. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. Did this movie scream like a Frank Capra kind of thing to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that's what he's going for.
I do believe that. He went for it with the pacing of a 1930s movie. He was that committed to the Frank Capra-ness of it.
It just doesn't have any of the charm of a Frank Capra movie to me.
No, and that's the overly manufacturedness of it. Like, I can see those executives in the boardroom creating this movie, The Majestic, as I was watching it. The only thing that of artistic merit I thought was in there was the opening shot, and then I guess
Oh, I was just going to mention this.
yeah, near the end shot.
So yeah, the opening shot, where it's just stuck on. You just watch Jim Carrey's face,
Watching Jim, we hear voices.
being still as possible. It's not moving. He's not doing Mr. Stretchy Face.
Nope.
And you're just like, oh, restraint.
We're just hearing voices talking around him. We see a little bit of a dude move near the end, so we get we build up that world a little bit, and we kind of show how small he is in it and how impotent he is in it, even though he's the on-screen element. That shot, I think, bought a lot of cachet for me as I was watching what I was expecting to be a boring movie. I go, all right, we're doing something really cool here. And then we got kind of a regular movie after that. We go back to that shot for Jim to complete his arc.
Yeah, we're right at the end.
Which and I was like, we're back here, all right. And then, we got kind of like happy ending. Everybody wins at the end movie. Bob Balaban, the villain from the Julia Roberts classic, The Mexican Returns.
Oh, yes, the Mexican. How could we forget?
Came out around this time, too. He was just in his villain era, I guess.
A movie that somehow squanders James Gandolfini and Gene Hackman. I was so excited for that fucking movie, and I'm like, what is this nonsense? Oof, I tried. Yeah, we got all of the Frank Darabont regulars: Laurie Holden, Jeffrey DeMunn. Let's see, I think there's like two other guys that are in a lot of his stuff. I don't know their names though. Whatever. But he's got a lot of his like little regulars popping up. And I'm like, okay, that's nice to see them. They'll be on Walking Dead in a few years.
We also got Norm Macdonald's Butler from A Minute with Stan Hooper, that canceled classic TV sitcom. Remember all 13 episodes of that? He was on that. He was like the handyman townsfolk guy. And you also got, speaking of, as I did in the pre-show, the canceled TV sitcom AUSA from 2003 and the canceled TV sitcom Man Up! From 2015. We have Amanda Detmer for like 5 minutes as the first blonde lady in the movie, not the main blonde lady.
She's kind of having a moment right now in that 2001 period. Yeah, I think it's over, but
It definitely is over. It was over when she had to do AUSA. And then seemed to disappear for a while. Came back for another sitcom. Mm-hmm. Man Up. I thought she was good at Man Up. I didn't like her as much in AUSA, but I blame the writing.
Hal Holbrook.
Yes.
I usually love Hal Holbrook. I think he is really hamming it up as that judge. Order! I'm like, couldn't you cut it out? Tone it down, sir.
Yeah, but I don't know. Because, like, they did that. They were grandstanders. Mm-hmm. But you're trying to manufacture this third act thing out of nowhere. Like, Jim Carrey basically has to go to that graveyard so he can be like, this is what I was in Act 1. I was afraid. I was this nebbish kind of guy. Didn't want to go to the war. I was afraid of taking chances. And I thought, I don't remember any of that happening. And then I kind of remember that first scene where he just, like, let him do all the dumb things to his movie. And I guess, okay, you technically did show me that, but not enough to the degree that you need me to believe it for your third act to work, which is why he has to yell everything at the blonde lady now. Not the Amanda Detmer blonde lady, of course.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the issue. On the one hand, like, the third act is somewhat set up because we know these guys are after him for being a communist. It sort of starts the movie off. But on the other hand, the stakes suddenly jump very high out of nowhere. I don't know. A whole platoon of cops come after him in this tiny town. And it seemed like they were afraid that the town itself was a bunch of communists, and they never really explored that. But I was kind of okay with that because we were already at 2 hours by that point. So I didn't need like more movie.
And then we still have 32 minutes to go.
Yes.
I'll tell you, this movie was received mixed to negative reviews from critics at the time. People were like, where's the funny? Where's the funny, Jim? Because even in his like more serious movies like Truman Show, he's still kind of goofy in that.
Yeah, like anybody could have played this, so I don't know how Jim came up.
Well, I guess he's trying to go for the Jimmy Stewart, like all all-American kind of guy.
Yeah, this reminded me of Julia Roberts' kind of Oscar baity run she did in those early mid-90s, and it was just kind of like snoozer after snoozer. It was like this movie. Like, the movie's fine mechanically. Like,
You're talking about like a Michael Collins kind of thing?
Michael Collins, the Dr. Jekyll
Mary
movie.
Riley.
Yeah, like that stuff where you'd be like, Julia, just go back to your... And then when she finally kind of like moved on from
My
that...
Best Friend's Wedding.
Yeah, she made good movies again, and then she ended up getting her Oscar anyway. So maybe Jim just got like a little hint of something doing the Truman thing and the Andy Kaufman thing and was like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this now.
He got 3 Golden Globes in a row.
Yes. Oh,
So weird.
Woo.
Yeah, not a single Oscar nomination, but 3 Globes in a row.
So I
Saying
think
something.
that there might be something to that. He made this choice based on that. I just don't know why Frank was like, yeah, let's get Jim for this.
Yeah. They're a weird pairing. I would never expect Frank Darabont to be like, that's my guy.
I mean, there are just so many actors that could have done this role in that time period. I don't know how Jim, especially how expensive Jim was. I don't know why he would be the top of the list.
Like a Matt Damon before Bourne? This would have been perfect for him.
In fact, you apparently had Matt Damon on the mind. He was young Jim Carrey.
Yeah, exactly. So I will tell you, like I said, mixed to negative reviews. One exception.
Roger Ebert,
Our guy.
Roger, Roger, Roger. Roger, 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 Roger. R-O-G-E-R. R-O-G-E-R.
Who awarded the film 3.5 stars and praised the film and its ideals. Of course he did. It flies the flag in honor of our World War II heroes and evokes nostalgia for small-town movie palaces and the people who run them. Frank Darabont has deliberately tried to make the kind of movie Capra made, about decent small-town folks standing up for traditional American values. In an age of Rambo patriotism in 2001?
I mean,
This is... The funny thing is, we are at right after 9/11 when this movie's coming out. So... I don't think there's Rambo patriotism, is there?
I mean, there
yet.
technically is, but it wouldn't. The movie studios wouldn't have been able to capitalize on that yet. Like, the rally around the flag thing has started after 9/11, but none of them knew that was happening, unless they did.
Yeah, you don't see that till like a year later when Spider-Man's swinging through New York City and he's like landing on the American flag and you're like, all right, America!
And everybody's like, we gotta help Spidey. And the New Yorkers aren't being grumpy at each other anymore. That doesn't happen.
He's just a kid!
Yeah.
Sorry. To remember that America is not just about fighting and winning, but about defending our freedoms. Ebert also praised Jim Carrey's performance, stating that he has never been better or more likable. How dare you? Never more likable.
This feels like such a old man Ebert review, though, right? I'm not
Yeah.
surprised at all.
This is before he was like, I'll take another look at that one. Yeah, okay, Ebert, go back and watch The Majestic and say, that's a great picture. Watch it for a second time. How's it play?
Maybe he fell asleep during the movie and had a dream about a better Majestic and then woke up and thought it was the same movie.
He had a dream about the movie. He forgot his memory and he wrote the review. This is a hilarious stat for you, by the way, for you to know. The only Frank Darabont feature film that is not based on a Stephen King novel or short story.
That is
The man only
pretty
made
wild.
Stephen King adaptations.
Another thing that had sort of set the bar so low for me, when filmmakers make movies about how magical movies are, I'm always very pessimistic about that. It's usually such a boring time.
I mean, I'm stumbling upon things that are just so... We're so locked into this. To shoot the Sand Pirates of the Sahara scene, Frank Darabont borrowed props from The Scorpion King, filming at the same time as his good friends with Chuck Russell, the director of The Scorpion King.
The Rock and Jim Carrey have a secret connection you weren't expecting.
Okay, well, this makes sense because why would he want to do this movie? But it's just such a... Tom Hanks turned down the role of Peter Appleton. He's also too old at that point, right?
Probably, but like that zone is where I imagine this character being,
Absolutely.
not the Jim Carrey zone. Just kind of everyman, normal guy.
Did you hear the Wilhelm scream
Yeah.
when part of the theater's neon sign explodes? It's always weird when that comes in. I'm like, okay. It was originally titled The Bijou. Jim Carrey and Laurie Holden dated in 2001 when this film was made and later starred... What? Oh my God, no way. I'm not telling you what they starred in together later.
Okay, that sounds good.
That's so funny. But yeah, they briefly dated.
Jim Carrey keeps dating his co-stars.
Yeah, or marrying them.
You know, the funny men, they get the girls. The sane ones get to keep them, but the funny ones get them.
And it's just funny because he's not funny in this movie. He's going to just work off
Yeah, he's burning off all those funny calories in between takes just to make sure it doesn't mess up his performance. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like his quote unquote dad dies in the movie and he's just crying, and I'm like, yeah, total Oscar play. Like that's exactly what this is for.
Yeah, but it's also pretty fucked up that he lied to this old man.
At that point, though, like the guy's dying, I would do it too.
I get it, but it's just like
I bet he has the heart attack right at the very moment you remember it. There's not a good opportunity to tell him. Just don't do it. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, you either break his heart or you lie to him when he's dying.
Yeah, the guy doesn't know. Who cares? Whatever.
Oh, it's just that's a nice little wrinkle to it. But
he told the person he had to tell, who was living.
There's not too much fun stuff about this one. Of all the Jim Carrey movies, this one remains one of his least favorite roles. He's even mentioned more than once that he regretted accepting it and that he had to be stoned at the time.
Then why did he do it?
What?
I just don't I don't know. I bet if this movie was a success, he wouldn't say that.
Oh yeah, the narration at the beginning, right?
Yeah, what about it?
That was so awkward. And then it goes away.
It's just there to get us through this quick. Again, they're like, our movie's 2.5 hours. How do we shorten this first act? Well, here we go.
I guess. Like, at this time, did Shawshank get nominated for Best Picture? Because he's good.
I think so.
It had to have, right?
I believe so. I believe it did. It's like the generic man's of a certain age's favorite film. Like, if you're like a regular average Joe, that's your favorite movie.
It was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, so I assume it had a weird... I'm not a real big Frank Darabont head, though.
No, and movies are never bad. They're just like this. They're just fine.
Well, this one... I mean, I haven't watched The Green Mile in a long time, and I've never really seen The Shawshank Redemption. But I've seen The Mist, and I'm kind of going to say this right now, without really having gone back to the Shawshank movie. The Mist is a good movie. And that's probably his best movie he made.
And also weird because it's completely unlike any of his other movies.
Absolutely. It's almost like a straight up horror movie.
It's actual genre.
And it's good. And it has one of the best endings.
Yeah, what?
So committed to it.
What a bummer. Yeah. But his other Stephen King adaptations, just these kind of like, I don't know, slice of life, sometimes slightly supernatural things to it. But Shawshank, I think, has none. Yeah, I don't know. But I guess maybe that's part of it is... This Majestic is an IP. No, it's not. I'm sorry.
Majestic is IP.
The Majestic is not an IP. Where
it's not. Yes. Okay.
So maybe the Stephen King's scripts get to have a little more backbone to them. Where, as I said, this one gets to be a lot more tinkered with. The executives in the boardroom aren't like, "Yeah, we got to kill everybody at the end of The Mist." Spoiler alert. They're not doing that. It's just like we have this short story that doesn't have an ending. How do we end it?
So, I didn't know this was a thing, that they list what Frank Darabont's script doctored credits are, where he's uncredited.
Okay.
Which are Saving Private Ryan. He script doctored the 2014, one of your favorites, Godzilla.
It's not one of my favorites.
He worked on an early draft of The Crystal Skull. He's all over the place.
Yeah, that is odd.
He's only been nominated for screenplay and picture as a producer. Yeah, I agree with Jim. This is one of his worst things he's done. It's just I was not engaged.
One of his worst things. Do you remember when we were slugging through the 80s?
Worst a Hollywood picture that he's done. Yes, I think this is one of the worst ones he's done because it's long, it's boring, it doesn't excite me at all. I did not want to rewatch it. I have not wanted to rewatch it in almost 25 years.
Joe, don't you want to harken back and make America great again like this when we can go to the theater and get 2 adult tickets and pay for it with a coin?
Yeah, what do you remember what year this takes place? It's like the 40s, right?
No, it's in the 50s.
Late 40s?
No, 50s. 50s. You listening
50s?
to me? The movie poster itself for that movie he wrote, the African one, whatever it is, the Egyptian one, that's copyrighted in 1951. So it's at least that.
Oh, okay.
But it seemed like some of his movies were from later in the 50s. But 51 would make sense because it's still very, very soon after the war. Or just being able to live above a movie theater. What apartment is above a movie theater now? They're all megaplexes. Wouldn't it be cool, Joe? Imagine us.
Yeah.
Young swinging bachelors in our 20s living above a movie theater. Where's that sitcom?
I already had that movie, though.
What movie?
It's called The Shape of Water.
No, that movie was boring.
Where I can hang out with what was wrong with, what's his name? Richard Jenkins? What was his,
What was his minority thing? I don't remember. Maybe he was gay? I think he was gay.
or is he?
You had a disabled lady, you had a gay guy, you had a foreign dude. It was like all these Trump enemies. There's all these like
Trump enemies.
yeah, and they all teamed up. It was like an anti-Trump movie before we knew we needed one. That's what The Shape of Water was.
Well, I mean, the movie came out in 2017, so we kind of knew we needed it.
Oh, I thought it was 2015. I don't know
No.
why. Okay. Then an immediate reaction to the Trump.
A mute janitor. She was a mute janitor.
Yeah.
I thought there was something going on with Richard Jenkins. But I
think
think
he's
of a different
gay.
movie.
I think he's a homosexual.
Yeah, but maybe they must be thinking of something different that he was playing in.
He does so much, especially on our podcast. It feels like we get him all the time.
He's great. Loved him and Me, Myself, and Irene.
Yeah, that's right. We just saw him.
We just saw him.
Jim just saw him.
Will we see him again? Do you remember him in Wolf?
Yep.
Okay. Well,
He popped up in Wolf. He popped up in that Whoopi Goldberg basketball movie.
a basketball movie? Eddie.
Eddie. Eat, Pray, Love. He was in the Pray part.
That just fucking works. No, I've always been a big Jenkins head since
Mildred Pierce. No, that's not the one. What's the other one?
6 Feet Under was first.
No.
Oh, and we've also, how could I forget, Witches of Eastwick?
Oh, yes. Silly us. He's touring this podcast up and down.
I'm looking at Martin Landau and Jim Carrey in this picture side by side. They could play father and son.
Yeah, see, maybe that was why. They knew they wanted Martin Landau, and they're like, well, now who do we get that looks like young Martin Landau?
Definitely towards the end of his career, right?
It's got to be.
No, not really.
How was he kicks around for like another 10 years?
Kind of, but not really. He slowed down.
Yeah.
He was old. He already won his Oscar.
There's just less roles for old people, too. And we saw a good chunk of them in this movie. They're all fighting each other outside of it. It was nice of Jim to introduce rock and roll to this town. Make America great again. No rock and roll.
Yeah.
Get rock and roll out of here. It's ruining the kids' minds.
Yeah, when he's playing the piano, and then the guy's who's like, I never taught you to play like that, and the guy's like, I taught him to play like that.
Those are in fact the two other workers at the movie theater.
Okay, yeah.
The lady's like, I only taught you the classics, young man, and then the other dude's like,
she was a very old lady that I've definitely seen in a bunch of things.
her character had the same last name as Sideshow Bob from The Simpsons. And that piano plot line, that happened in Taxi. Straight from Taxi.
I knew you could bring it back. I knew you could do it.
Christopher Lloyd plays the piano, but Mary Lou Henner is afraid that he doesn't know how to play it when he said that he does, and then he doesn't for a bit, and then suddenly he does, and he goes, oh, I must have had lessons at some point.
Yeah, I guess. So you liked it.
I didn't like it. I just would give this a 2 stars, which in my 5-star review is like average movie.
If you gave it 2 stars, then I'm lowering it because I gave it 2 stars.
Yeah, but your 2 stars is lower than my 2 stars.
I changed it to 1.5.
If I were doing the Ebert 4-star review, I would give it 1.5 stars. But 2 is like the baseline. Like this makes you regular movie. 2.
Yeah, but it takes a long time to watch it, so it loses. If I'm not enjoying it and it's taking so long, you're losing points.
Well, this is the benefit where I have not seen this yet.
I guess.
If I had to watch it a second time, it would be tougher. And it was also nice to be let me have commercial breaks.
Oh, yeah.
I got to like step away, clean some dishes, come back, watch the movie. Step away, recharge my...
Make it 3 hours now.
Yeah, but like, I don't know, it didn't feel... For a 2.5 hour, I was expecting like the Reds experience where I'm just like, I need this movie to end.
Oh, come on. Be nice to Reds.
No. Or Ironweed. Many, many times I'm like, when will this be done?
No, we never have to be nice to Ironweed.
When will this be over? But Majestic was just like, it came and went. I will probably never think about it again other than daydreaming about living above a movie theater. But besides from that, like it's
There's
just
better movies with that premise.
Okay, but I haven't seen them. And I'm not talking about Shape of Water. I'm not counting Shape of Water.
Do you remember that movie at all?
Yes, I remember. I saw it with you, and it snowed that day.
Do you remember Michael Shannon's, like, fucked up finger?
Joe, I was with you in the movie.
I know, but that was almost 8 years ago now.
My hot take, Shape of Water, another 2-star movie. Came and it went.
You asshole.
Came, went, moved on with my life.
That was my birthday movie, and I was so happy I got a good birthday movie.
Maybe we get to go to the fancy AMC in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That might have been the last time I've been there.
You're certainly not going without me. Why would you bother?
Well, there are nice movies playing there. It's just too far away.
All right, you want a little Drew Carey music licensing issue?
Yeah.
Moon over Parma, bring my love to me tonight. Guide her to East Lake.
I just want to talk about last week's and this week's. They're all from like the first 7 episodes of Drew Carey season 4. It's just non-stop musical issues with the show in season 4. They really went for it. Drew Carey in season 3, he was engaged to this lady, and then they broke off the engagement. Well, in season 4, we find out she's getting married to somebody else.
That was fast.
Yes. So he was like courtesy invited to the wedding, and then of course shows up to make a fool of himself. Well, he gets into a dance competition with her new husband, but of course the dance competition is cut extremely, extremely short because they can't play any of that music. I don't know why they didn't want to just put different music over it. I guess because it has to be to the rhythm of the dancing. I don't know.
Yeah, but you can figure it out.
They could have, they didn't. They just like abruptly cut to one guy finishing dancing. Drew begins his dancing, and it goes with hilarious consequences. That one, not much music gets to play because he doesn't get far in it. So that's probably why they were able to keep that bit. Also, you needed it because he has to injure himself for the rest of the show to make sense. And, Joe, one of the best episodes of the series.
Oh.
When Drew gets shipped to China by Mimi as a prank.
Hell yeah. I like that one.
Well, one of the great things about the episode is the climax is he goes to McDonald's and McDonald's rescues him. Like he finds a Chinese McDonald's and he gets McDonald's with their international corporate powers to rescue him and bring him back to America. Well, to get the manager of the Chinese McDonald's to help him, to agree to help him, he has to play to his sweeter sides by singing the old McDonald's theme song. Well, apparently, even though you can be shooting in a McDonald's and have McDonald's logos everywhere, you cannot use their theme song that I have to imagine they themselves wrote.
So the music rights to these things are absolutely insane. I'll never understand music
I didn't
rights.
get it, and so like we just like abruptly, we missed that whole thing, and suddenly the guy's like, okay, I'll help you, even though he just was like, I'm not going to help you. Very awkward cutting. Very, very awkward. I was very upset about it. Such a great moment in that episode, in a great episode. Oh well. So there you go. Drew Carey Show. Really playing with fire when it comes to music licensing rights in season 4. I just can't seem to find an episode where no music was replaced.
I feel bad, though. I want you to be able to watch all the dance sequences. He dances a lot, it feels like.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I have the HD copies from that fine gentleman whose YouTube channel got canceled because of it. So it's okay. It just was nice that other people could have access to this too. And they kind of do, but they miss some great moments in the show because of the music streaming things. But definitely go support Drew Carey Show on Plex. Encourage people behind the Drew Carey Show to know that, there is an audience interest here. Maybe they'll put out a DVD or they'll get this music rights sorted out so they can give you the full experience.
Wouldn't that be wonderful if it had like a Malcolm in the Middle resurrection where they got all the music rights?
It's Plex's #1 show. Everybody's coming from miles around to watch the Drew Carey Show, to check out this long-lost hidden classic. And then the producers go, hey, there's some life to this. Let's do it. Let's give him the full experience. And then they go and do the thing. And then, yeah, that would be great. That would make America great again.
You're really on this one.
Put music back in the Drew Carey show. Make America great again.
Yeah, are we done with the Majestic?
I think we're done with the Majestic.
Yeah, I'm done. I've been done with the Majestic since the day I finished watching it.
Joe's take, it's boring. My take, it's boring, but fine.
Well,
to me, it's an average movie. Is it longer than I'd like an average movie to be? Of course, but average still.
They could have made this 2 hours. There's no need. Cut some of the fat off.
Oh, but then where would you get all of your saccharine and overly sentimental moments, Joe? Where?
Fine, make it 1:30. It does not need to be 2 hours and 32 minutes long.
Make it an 8-episode HBO miniseries.
Yeah, you could probably watch like one half of a season, or no, you know what?
No, here you go. You
5 episodes of Bored to Death, and you'd have a much better time, and you would not be bored to death.
You do this. It's 8 episodes, right? Maybe they're an hour long. That's fine. But like,
okay.
You do both storylines, right? So we start off. He wakes up on the beach. We don't know who he is. Who's this guy? What's his story?
Okay.
Then we do the lost kind of flashbacks to his life, and then we kind of learn, oh, he was a movie, and then we're like, oh, was this his other life before he was?
I thought they were gonna pull something like that because I forgot what happened.
Yeah, is this like we don't know what happened in this 9-year gap for the sun between World War I and now? Oh, they said 9 years, so we know it's 1954.
It's in 1951.
The movie came out in 1951. I don't know. Anyway, then you can kind of play with the two storylines and juggle them, and then they have to converge. You could do something.
It needs to be tinkered. It needs to go back to the editing.
I think it was over-edited or over-studio noted. It felt like they were making this coal miner movie that they kept jokingly making at the beginning of it.
I wish it was better.
Yes.
I like movies about movies.
I just wonder if it's not Jim Carrey, America has a different expectation for this movie, and maybe that helps it or something.
It's not Jim Carrey. It's 2001.
The Matt Damon was a good comp.
Yeah, Matt Damon.
That seems like that's your everyman now.
Tobey Maguire before Spider-Man?
Tobey Maguire. He's kind of got a Capra vibe to him.
Yeah. He's got that, like, boyish look still.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Especially before Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We need some tinkering.
All right. Minecraft director's getting all mad that he's like, why are you calling police to the movie theater?
I have not seen a chicken jockey yet in theater, so I'm actually going today.
I just, if you're the director, be like, hey, listen, I appreciate your enthusiasm for the movies, everybody, but maybe...
The director? Do you know who the director of the Minecraft movie is?
No.
Jared Hess.
Is that the Napoleon Dynamite guy?
He made Napoleon Dynamite. He also made Nacho Libre.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Now, there's a boring movie.
I've never seen it.
Very boring. Oh, that's the Jack Black connection. Okay.
Yeah, he's like a wrestler kind of thing. But I've never liked Napoleon Dynamite. It's never my thing.
I like Napoleon Dynamite. That was kind of like one of my early indie films that I got to see. They had it at the what was our Majestic called? What was it? The Zoetrope?
Yeah, the Zoetrope.
Yeah, I got to go. I dragged Chris and Jake Stanley there.
That's a great theater. I miss it.
They didn't like the movie, but I liked it. I snuck in a McDonald's parfait. I had it like in my pocket while we were hanging out at Maldivas.
For $2 in the afternoon and $3 in the evening. I could remember that automated, like, you call it up. And you're like, okay.
To get the show times, you had to call the theater or you had to look at the newspaper.
Yeah, that was the best.
What a different world.
That number memorized for the longest time.
And then they were going to get rid of all those buildings, and that was the only one they actually ended up getting rid of. Why?
So bullshit.
Why?
And then, you know what they did? They replaced it with a staircase. It's just a staircase to walk down to the other complexes.
The art theater here reminds me a lot, kind of layout-wise, of the Zoetrope. I just don't know why you never tried to do like a second-run movie theater. You didn't even want it to.
There needs to be a theater, or like that's not just in Bellingham. They need to have like a little,
but like maybe that's the problem. Is that's the middle and like you're not near a major city, so people don't want art things. But I don't know. You have a lot of old people around there.
Milford. It's further away from me, but Milford's a pretty big, busy city.
Milford used to have a movie theater. I saw a very Brady sequel there. That's the sequel to the Brady Bunch movie.
In Milford?
In Milford, they had a movie theater where it's the Stop and Shop is there now, right off the exit.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I didn't know there was a theater over there. I've never been over there. There used to be a theater that was in the Franklin Stop and Shop Plaza.
That's true. That was the Hoyts that moved over to Bellingham.
Yeah. I liked it there.
Yeah, that was kind of neat. Like, you went in and it was kind of like a spider. Like, there was a main area and then there were like 8 screens in a circle all around that area.
I only saw one movie there. I can tell you exactly what it was. It was Muppet Treasure Island.
I saw many movies there. I remember seeing the last Batman movie. What was the last one of that era, of that 90s era?
Oh, the
Batman Forever?
Batman and Robin?
Batman and Robin? No.
Well, that's 97.
What's the one with Poison Ivy and Mr. Freeze?
Yeah, that's Batman and Robin.
You call that one Batman and Robin, but not the one where Robin comes in?
Well, I guess you don't know that Robin is coming in, even though he's on the poster. It's the worst kept secret.
You set up so much of it. And then the last one should be called Batman Forever.
Well, because they don't really team up until the end of the movie. He's just kind of taking him under his bat wing.
So stupid. I saw that there. I saw Spice Girls. I saw the Spice Girls movie there. Anastasia. Saw that.
A lot of the 97 movies.
I saw the re-release of Star Wars right before.
Yep, 97.
97? No, I guess.
Yeah, that's February of 97.
All right, well, I'm going to stop dating myself then. All right, yes, Minecraft, stop throwing things in there. The director's getting mad at police getting called, but movie studios are also being like, all right, we're going to have chicken jockey screenings where you can be a jerk. This will be the jerk movie screening. If you want to be a jerk, go to this screening. Don't go to the regular normal people screening.
They're just a bunch of teenage boys trying to be funny and get memed. That's all these boys want. They all just want to be memed now. These boys don't care about theaters and cinema. They just want the memes.
All right, what are your last looks, Joe?
The Majestic, don't watch it. It's fucking boring. What are your last looks?
All right, why does Jim Carrey do this movie? Well, I would posit he's doing it to try to win Oscars. He throws a wrinkle in that plan where he claims he regretted doing it pretty much immediately. I don't believe that. I do not believe that happened in the moment. I think if this movie got him a lot of critical praise and was a big hit in the year it came out, he would be like, yeah, I made a good, bold choice here not to do my normal thing, and it paid off, and I'm glad I did this. I don't know. I don't believe he had a tough time doing it. I don't think he's there on that set miserable and also dating the co-star. I don't know. I think he was in good spirits. And when he is not in good spirits, he is definitely the type to let people know on set.
Yeah.
So that's my takeaway. I think that's a lot of hindsight is his current opinion on the movie. All right. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Scoop Dreams. If you can dream it, they can scoop it. I'd like to thank Lev Van Rensselaer for minding those audio boards and keeping the sound so slippery smooth. I'd like to thank my co-host Joe Vekeman for stopping by.
Thank you.
And I am your host, Patrick Scale. You can find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com and social media, presumably with a similar-sounding name. Thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night. So I'm going to read your review that you wrote, and I want you to guess the movie for the movie you wrote the review about.
Oh, no. The consequences of my actions.
I got pretty much what I expected based on the trailer. My tepid expectations aside, I will say this movie didn't deserve the bad opening weekend it had.
Oh, I do remember writing this review.
A movie from November 2022.
It was a movie that, wasn't great, but was much better than people thought it was.
Yeah, it has good acting, good actors in it.
Oh, I don't remember. I will when you tell me the title. 2022?
Mm-hmm. I'll give you a hint. It's about the, is it? Yeah, it's about the Me Too movement.
Oh, is it that? It's the All the President's Women one. What was it called?
She Said?
Yeah, is it that one?
It's that one.
Yes. All right. That came out in 2022? Jesus.
Yeah, someone watched that on my letterbox, but they logged it now. And I'm like, who would watch that movie 3 years later?
Yeah, I don't it was fine. It was a fine movie.
Yeah, it's fine. I watched it because I like Carrey Mulligan. That's about it.
I did get exactly what I thought. It just felt like people have gone to theaters for worse, so I didn't know why they didn't go for that.
She's in a new movie called The Ballad of Wallace Island. It looks really, really boring, but, I've heard it's good.
I've heard nothing.
All right, let me pull it up here. haven't watched any movies.
So I caught up. I finished the 8 episodes of AUSA, the old sitcom I was watching, as you know I like to do.
AUSA?
From 2003, the old canceled sitcom. I love an old canceled sitcom. AUSA, I remember watching when I was in middle school. Some psychopath had videotaped all the episodes when they came out, I guess, and then digitized them and upload them to YouTube. It was very nice of them. Anyway, somebody else did the same thing with a show from 1992 I'd never heard of called Leo and Max, I think, maybe something like that. Here's why I started watching it. Here are the 2 stars. Bob Newhart owns a bookstore on Martha's Vineyard, and then his son, Jason Bateman, is getting married, and...
Wait, Jason Bateman is the son of Bob Newhart?
And he's getting married to a lady, and they're also about to have a baby. That's part of why they're getting married. So the woman's absentee father finally returns, who was like living a life as a magician in Las Vegas, a con artist kind of thing, working for the mafia. And that is played by Judd Hirsch.
Have you said the title of the picture yet? Because I would like to guess it.
Leo and Max, maybe, or... No, those are the characters from the producers. It's something like that. George and Leo. There you go. I got there. Oh, aired later than I thought. 97 to 98.
Oh, it's a TV show.
Yeah, I thought it was 5 years earlier. Anyway, it's a very good show, but they blew their cameo load pretty early. They had one single episode where they had just about every character from Bob's 2 previous sitcoms on, and 2 characters from Judd Hirsch's previous sitcom, because most of them have other better things to do. Another guest star who popped up, Eddie Murphy's boss from the Nutty Professor movies. He was like the...
Larry...
Yeah.
What's that guy's name? Larry something, right? So, yes, this Bob Newhart show, you enjoyed it?
You know, about a third of the way through it. It only got 1 season, but it is a full season. I was like, well, I haven't heard about this show with Judd Hirsch and Bob Newhart. Mm-hmm. This must be really bad, but pretty good show, I would say. I think Bob and Judd play off each other very well.
Larry Miller.
That sounds right. That sounds like his name.
Yeah, we've encountered him several times. He works frequently with our friend Gary.
Oh, Gary, who's in this movie.
The Majestic?
Yeah.
Gary Marshall's in The Majestic.
You remember Gary Marshall, Carl Reiner, Matt Damon, Rob Reiner, Nepo Baby.
Sidney Pollack.
All in this movie.
Well, I didn't see his face, so I don't associate it.
Well, I recognize that voice.
I should. He's got a very recognizable voice.
And we've heard it many times for this podcast. He's been in a few too many of our movies. Actually, I only can think of one. I may have overstated. No, he must have... No. You know, he's directed many movies we've watched. That's what it is.
Matt Damon's character is just a voice, but he has a full name. He's the only one that has a full name of the voices.
Well, yes.
Oh, he plays the other Jim Carrey.
Yes, he plays the written letter form of the other Jim Carrey.
I didn't notice that was Damon's voice. I was kind of like checking out at that point, and I had no second screen experience. I was just like, fuck. Anywhere my eyes can go right now, just let them go.
I didn't know it was his voice. I only saw it in the credits when I was like, I think that's Gary Marshall. So I'm just like zooming them, and I go, all right, yep, I heard them. I heard Rob Reiner. I was like, oh, Carl Reiner, that's crazy. And then Matt Damon was there, and I was like, why do you do this? All right.
You're like, eh? All right, so we should get this thing started, because this...
It's like, all right, we need a soldier lost in a World War II kind of thing. Who's the soldier that gets lost in a World War II Saving Private Ryan? We got to go get that guy.
That's right.
Okay, yes, we'll get started on the movie for real, I guess, since we're already talking about it.
Well, since we have to match the runtime of this movie for our podcast, we should really get going.
No, I can't. All right. Let me drink the water.